Susan, what is emotional intelligence and how can we use emotional intelligence to accelerate the human experience?
Well, there's lots of different definitions of emotional intelligence. My view of emotional intelligence is that it's a person who has the capability to read the psychological geography in the room. In other words, they can feel and connect with what's going on for different individuals. And it's the ability to be empathetic. Obviously, I think that's a key component of it. Maybe a bit more on the feeling side. The thinking feeling is a key. I think people need both, but sometimes people are extremely thinking, analytically oriented, and don't always get that piece around the ability to read the psychological geography of the room. I also think that emotional intelligence includes a leader being self-aware and recognizing their past impact. They recognize their pluses and minuses, and they take accountability for all of that. And then also, I think emotional intelligence is taking that self-awareness and being able to self-regulate when we get emotionally charged, or some people call it being hooked or triggered at work. It's wonderful, though. It's perfect timing, right? I'm reading a great book right now called The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership. It's sitting here somewhere. I'm reading your book and I'm reading that book. And in that book, the authors, I had to bring it out because I thought this is such a great definition. The authors of the book are Jim Dethmer, Diane Chapman, and Kaylee Warner Klemp. And their definition, and they go into a lot of description of it, of emotional intelligence is somewhat different than sort of the traditional approach. Their definition says emotional intelligence embodies it through commitments to self-awareness, emotional processing, responsible communication, and conscious presence. They describe it as a lived moment-by-moment practice rather than a set of skills to master. And I love that. I thought that was, it's really about leadership commitment to showing up in a certain way that they're taking their own responsibility for their emotions and they're managing that. And they do a beautiful job describing it in more detail in their book. So I thought I was reading their book Sunday night after I'd finished some of your chapters and thought that was great.